I want to talk about a bit of a sensitive subject. Of course, you're wondering, okay, well, what peachy, what else is new? This is in regards to what's currently going on in society in regards to spiritual enlightenment and certain people who deem themselves as leaders or gifted. Um, you guys have to be careful. This is another warning because I noticed this. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, there are a lot of people that I seek counseling from, in addition to my creator, who I deem as gifted. There are a lot of people that are gifted in different ways that are providing their guidance to people with good intent. And then there are some whose intent is a little misaligned. Not so much bad intentions, but it's just that their perception of life is a little distorted due to either past experience or possible present mental illness. And they're out here saying that they're gifted and they've got this, and this, but the way they present themselves is contrary to the gift that they claim to have. So this is where a strong spiritual connection with your higher power comes into play. This is where you've got to consult with your spirit guides when it comes to certain things. Now, as I stated before, I seek counsel from others who have been down my road. I am learning the different things in regards to spirituality because it's a constant learning and growth process. In no way or form am I trying to profess that I'm at the pinnacle of enlightenment because there's no such thing. You're always constantly learning. So I have no problem receiving any type of counsel or advice from those who are gifted. And I acknowledge their gifts. I thank the Creator for their gifts and I pay attention. But what I'm also learning too is I'm learning to differentiate between the ones who are genuinely gifted and the ones who are trying to be gifted, so to speak. Let me give you an example, and let me give you a couple of examples, and maybe some of you can relate to what I'm talking about. Now, a lot of you already know that we're going through some times now where the earth, as well as the entire universe, there's a shift going on. It's an unseen shift, not so much because of the pandemic situation and the economy. Those are things that we could tangibly see and feel. There is a cosmic shift. There's an adjustment in the transferring of dimensions. There's an adjustment going on that is unexplainable. And that's why there are a lot of things that are happening in society where man has no control over. And for some people, because they don't have any control over it, it actually leads to insanity. It contributes to mental illness. Some people who are otherwise, pretty together, sane individuals who led a quote unquote normal life, all of a sudden, because of the recent situation, or it could have been something else that could have been brewing under the surface, they decided they received a spiritual enlightening and they used that as a tool to get the word out to people. And they claim it's helping people, but what they're doing is they're cloaking their own insecurities and their own deficiencies and trying to present it in a way that is supposed to affect other people. And this goes back to my defense mechanism that I'm talking about. And one of them is projection, where in projection, you actually feel a certain way. But instead of addressing it, you try to make it seem like the parties outside of you have that problem when they don't. You could be feeling sad or angry or frustrated, but instead of dealing with that, you want to say, "Oh, well, my sister is feeling sad and upset and frustrated, and sister ain't got nothing to do with it." It's one of those things. So what's happening is we got a lot of people that are coming out that are, spiritual coaches, spiritual gifted, spiritual readers, whatever name that you want to call them. And like I said, some of them are great, but then there are some of them that have had pre-existing mental health problems, have had pre-existing addiction problems, substance abuse problems that were not addressed And instead of addressing those problems by getting treatment, what they'll do is they'll turn to spirituality, so to speak, and claim that the reason why they act the way they act is because they're gifted. They're saying, "Oh well, okay, I'm not crazy, but the truth is the reason why I act this way. I see now. I see now. The reason why I act this way is not because I have this mental illness. It's because I was gifted from the time that I was 7 years old." From the time that I was 15 years old. That's what it is now. So it's really a spiritual gift. No, no. You guys have to be very, very careful with some of these people. And if you listen to them when they present themselves, you can hear their story. You can hear their circumstances when they present themselves. A lot of them may do it on social media. A lot of them may do it on television. A lot of them may do it in film. But you will see a lot of these coaches, every time it's time for them to present something, do a video, do a podcast or whatever, they can't finish that session without referring to something in their past or something that they're currently dealing with of their own. No matter what the subject is, they got to bring themselves into it. And it is a form of narcissism. Yes, it is. But I don't like to throw around that word too much because it is a buzzword, and unfortunately is being overused by some people that they don't even know the real meaning of it. But I mean, it is what it is. But what these people are doing is they're projecting they're throwing their negative situation and they're cloaking it and saying, "Oh, well, the reason why I have this problem is because I was always misunderstood, and the truth is that I had the gift, but I didn't realize I had the gift." No, no. Some of them actually have mental illness, and unfortunately, some of them claim to be spiritualists, and they don't want to even acknowledge that mental illness exists. You can call it what you want. You can call it what you want. You could say demon possession, because I do believe on a certain level there are demons involved. Demon possession, mental illness, maladjusted, whatever term you want to refer it to, the bottom line is that this person is not functioning at a healthy level. We all know this. And they weren't functioning at a healthy level for quite some time, and nothing was done to address it. So all of a sudden, out of the blue, this person decides they want to be a spiritualist, and they're using it as an excuse not to address what's going on. There are some people who are still that are addicted to very toxic substances. Very toxic substances. Some of them practice self-mutilation. Some of them get involved in risky sexual behavior, all in the name of spiritualism, and it's wrong. Now, in the real world, the truth is that these people need extensive help. But they figure since they're spiritualists, they use that as an excuse not to get any treatment. This is nothing to laugh at, people. So when you are on your path to spiritual enlightenment and you're exploring your sources, please make sure that you do your research and consider the source. And pay attention to how these people present themselves. Because I research people all the time. I don't prescribe to just a certain group. There's a handful of people that I listen to on a regular basis because they vibe with me. And then there are some that have come across, my social media feed or video feed or some kind of reference that somebody gives me to tell me to check them out. And then when I start studying that person's background, and I pay more attention to how they present themselves, I understand that that person is not an enlightened. It's a way of them trying to hustle their way into your pocketbook or into your clicks and likes and subscribes. It's showboating to get your attention. It's attention-seeking behavior. So you got to be very careful. And the number one way to tell whether or not a spiritualist who is trying to help people is really trying to help is when they bring up a subject and they provide a lot of information in the subject in hopes to help without talking about a personal situation that they ran into. If you are listening or paying attention or subscribing to someone right now who is always referring to the same negative situation that they've encountered or they are still encountering every single time they present themselves, something is wrong. Something is wrong somewhere. You need to seek your guidance elsewhere. Don't get me wrong, we all go through things. But see, there are different systems and there are different locations and different organizations that can help you address certain situations. And if that person has not sought that type of help for that problem, for them to turn around and to go out and seek an audience in a way to vent, that's not right. That's taking advantage of people's time, because there are people here that are genuinely seeking a higher quality of life, and they're seeking that knowledge. And for you to pretend to be something that you're not, and the sad part about it is these people are not in their right mind. They got a whole bunch of unaddressed bullshit going on. There is no way in the world the bullshit that I went through 10, 15, 20 years ago, there is no way in the world I could turn around and talk to you guys right now about anything. Not with a clear conscience. If I had done it back then, I would have been just like these people. Every time I got the attention of someone who clicked on a video or paid attention to my social media posts or went live or anything like that, every time you turn around, I'm talking about something that went wrong with me, how I was a victim. And it's not right. So you guys, just be careful. If you know someone who is doing this in the name of spiritualism, that somebody needs to sit down and talk to them. I don't know if it's you, because see, they might be at that level where they feel that, that they don't want to deal with you because they're a spiritualist and they're going to be alone all the time and all this stuff. Okay, well, they're going to be alone all the time, and there's a reason for that, but it has nothing to do with spiritualism. It has a lot to do with what they're involved in. They have not taken accountability for what they need. They have not done the shadow work. They have not cleaned up their bullshit. They have not done it. And they turn around and want to talk about they want to be a spiritualist. No. Can't do it. Can't do it. So just be careful, guys. Just be careful. I'm going to talk in another audio about some of the things that you might want to look for specifically. Some of the words that are used. And how sometimes people are trying to emotionally manipulate people who are seeking a higher calling, and it's a sad thing. So you got to be very careful, okay? Peace to you.